American alligator. The most dangerous thing about an alligator isn't its teeth. It's that you already know it's there and you're still walking toward the water. The scariest thing about an alligator has nothing to do with its jaws. It's the fact that you're fully aware of what's in that water and you're heading straight for it anyway. The American alligator has existed in essentially its current form for millions of years. It survived the asteroid that ended the dinosaurs. It outlasted every megafauna that shared its swamp. It watched the last ice age from below the waterline and simply waited it out. For millions of years, the American alligator has looked more or less exactly as it does today. The asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs didn't touch it. Every massive creature that once shared its wetlands eventually vanished. The alligator didn't. While the last ice age reshaped the planet, it just sat beneath the surface and let it pass. Today, it occupies golf course ponds, suburban drainage ditches, and backyard swimming pools across the American Southeast. Now it turns up in the water hazards of golf courses, the drainage channels running through subdivisions, and the swimming pools of backyards all across the southeastern United States. A prehistoric apex predator that didn't adapt to human expansion so much as it ignored it entirely. It's an apex predator from the prehistoric world that didn't so much adjust to the spread of human civilization as simply fail to register it. When it bites, it doesn't chew. It locks, drops its body weight, and spins. A bite from an alligator isn't followed by chewing. It clamps down, throws its full weight into the motion, and rolls. Bone, tendon, and joint separated mechanically without frustration, without hesitation, in a technique unchanged for tens of millions of years, because nothing about it needed changing. Bone, tendon, and joint come apart through pure mechanical force. No emotion, no pause. Using a method that hasn't changed in tens of millions of years because there was never any reason to change it. The water goes still. The only sound is pressure. The surface becomes flat and silent. The only thing you're aware of is force. Here's the part nobody mentions, though. Statistically, the alligator is one of the least likely wild animals to kill you in North America. What people rarely bring up, though, is this. Statistically speaking, the alligator ranks among the least likely wild animals in North America to actually cause your death. It generally avoids humans unless someone feeds it. Feed an alligator once, and it stops processing you as irrelevant. It tends to steer clear of people, unless someone decides to feed it. Do that once, and you've permanently changed how it sees you. You don't become a friend, you become a category. You're not a companion to it. You've become a classification, and that reclassification once made doesn't reverse. Once it places you in that category, there's no going back. It survived mass extinction, continental drift, and 5 ice ages. The one thing that keeps getting it killed is a retired man in cargo shorts with a hot dog. This animal endured mass extinctions, shifting continents, and 5 separate ice ages. And yet the thing that most consistently gets it killed is a retiree in cargo shorts tossing it a hot dog. Survival chance 87%, drops to 11% the moment you name it. Your odds of surviving an encounter, 87%. The moment you've given it a name, those odds plummet to 11%. But if the alligator is the one you've heard of, what comes next is the one that made the rest of this list feel like a warm-up. But if the alligator is the animal you grew up hearing about, what follows is the one that makes everything else on this list feel like a practice run. Saltwater crocodile. The saltwater crocodile is the largest living reptile on Earth, and the open ocean is just another habitat it decided to claim. Earth's largest living reptile isn't content with rivers and coasts. The open ocean is simply another territory it chose to occupy. Found across Southeast Asia, Northern Australia, and the Indo-Pacific, Crocodilis porosus has been documented hundreds of kilometers offshore, navigating between islands in open water with the calm purposefulness of something that has never once considered the concept of a natural predator. Distributed across Southeast Asia, Northern Australia, and the broader Indo-Pacific, Crocodilis porosus has been spotted hundreds of kilometers out to sea, moving between islands through open water with the unhurried confidence of an animal that has never had to worry about being hunted. It grows past 6 meters. It generates a bite force of roughly 3,700 pounds per square inch, the highest measured of any living animal. And it delivers that force in a sustained directional lock while dragging prey below the surface. It can exceed 6 meters in length. Its bite force, approximately 3,700 pounds per square inch, the greatest recorded among living animals, is applied in a firm, sustained grip while the animal pulls its prey underwater. But the bite isn't the terrifying part. The waiting is. But what makes it truly frightening isn't the bite, it's the patience. Saltwater crocodiles submerge, regulate their heartbeat to near stillness, and hold position for hours. They sink beneath the surface, slow their heartbeat to almost nothing, and remain perfectly motionless for hours at a time. The water above them shows nothing. Flat, opaque, warm, no ripple, no silhouette. Nothing on the surface gives them away. Just flat, murky, warm water with no movement, no shadow, no sign at all. You're standing at the bank washing your hands or collecting water or doing something completely ordinary, and it's been watching you since before you arrived. You're crouching at the water's edge doing something routine, washing up, filling a container, and it has had its eyes on you since before you even got there. Documented attacks occur most frequently during routine shoreline activity, not during anything reckless. Records show that attacks most commonly happen during ordinary, everyday activities at the water's edge, not during anything careless or daring. The crocodile wasn't provoked. It was already there. There was no provocation. It was simply already in position. According to accounts from communities across northern Australia and coastal Papua New Guinea, people don't stop going to the water. They simply learn to move differently near it. People living along the coasts of northern Australia and Papua New Guinea don't abandon the water. They just develop a different way of moving around it. The awareness that something might be watching changes the texture of every ordinary moment near the shoreline. Knowing that you might be under observation transforms even the most mundane moments at the water's edge into something else entirely. The air feels closer. The water looks deeper than it is. The air seems to press in around you. The water appears to go down further than it actually does. Survival chance 14%. And only if it wasn't already watching you walk down to the bank. Your chances of surviving, 14%. And that's only if it hadn't already spotted you on your way down to the water. But if the saltwater crocodile owns the Indo-Pacific, there's one that owns something far older. A river that built civilization and quietly collected its tithe. But while the saltwater crocodile has claimed the Indo-Pacific, what comes next holds dominion over something even older. A river that gave rise to civilization and silently took its toll in return. Nile crocodile. The ancient Egyptians built a god in its image, and the Nile crocodile accepted that as nothing more than accurate. The ancient Egyptians fashioned a deity in its likeness, and the Nile crocodile received that honor as though it were simply a statement of fact. Crocodilus niloticus has occupied the Nile and sub-Saharan Africa for millennia. For thousands of years, Crocodilus niloticus has made its home in the Nile and across sub-Saharan Africa. And according to ancient Egyptian belief, the god Sobek, crocodile-headed, river-ruling, and morally indifferent, embodied the Nile's central paradox. In ancient Egyptian belief, Sobek, depicted with a crocodile's head, governing the river, and utterly without moral consideration,